Welcome. Welcome to Spring Forest Qigong's Heart Wisdom series. This is Tobey. This series gives SFQ practitioners, trainers, healers, and instructors the opportunity to present their thoughts and perspectives on particular topics around heart wisdom. Tonight, Anne Minoff is our guest sharer of knowledge, pearls of wisdom. So we welcome her today. And her topic is, your breath, your personal guide to wellness. So I have known Anne for really many, many years, and I've always found her to be quite thoughtful and committed to the practice of Spring Forest Qigong. And she also has a wide and diverse, exposure and experience with other kinds of ways of looking at life. So she brings really a depth and an expansiveness of things. But let me introduce you now to Anne. Hello, Anne.
Hello, Glenn.
Good to see you.
Thank you for that. Good to see you, and thank you for that introduction.
Yeah. Could you give us just an introduction about yourself? Kind of let other people know a little bit, some things about you?
Okay, let's see. Well, I've been meditating since 1975, pretty much every day. I was a chiropractor for about 10, 11 years, 1982 to 1994. Let's see. I'm always studied different sacred traditions across the world, and taught and continue to teach Kabbalah, which is Judaic mysticism. And I met Master Lin in 2007, and I love Spring Forest Qigong.
Oh, beautiful. So, Anne, how did you arrive at this title, breath and your personal guide to wellness?
Great. So I feel that the breath is a powerful element, if not the most powerful element in our inner toolbox, whether your goal is health and well-being or whether your goal is spiritual development. And in my studies, I found across the board in all traditions, eventually the masters would draw their students to the breath to help them turn within, to help them focus within. Because the breath is really become our personal guide to internal focus. And that's how it's been used in many ancient traditions. And it correlates beautifully with Master Lin talking about, as long as you focus outside, you're using your chi, your energy. But it's when you focus within, that is when you cultivate your chi. That is when you build your energy. So the breath is meant to be your guide to internal focus, as I understand it, and it becomes, it's like an invisible door. The breath is invisible, but you develop a relationship with the breath, and as you connect with the breath more and more easily, you find this invisible door and you glide through into the internal universe, the internal focus, where it's that magic where you activate, all the power within. So Master Lin shared, I just want to share, Master Lin shared in a healing connection a few years ago that you slow the breath down, you slow the breath down, you slow the breath down, and then you drop into a moment of serenity, a place of repose where the physical body, the spirit, and the soul merge. That's where the breath can take you.
So, Anne, could you say more about that? Because, it sure does seem like it's more than like, I'm going to breathe automatically. My body is set up to inhale and exhale, inhale and exhale. If I exercise or run, I might be, out of breath. But you're telling me it's more than that, kind of like the biological or the physical functioning, of the breathing. So if you could speak to something beyond that physical, normal, automatic breathing into then how do you now begin to utilize it more deliberately?
So it's like any other relationship. The more time and energy you give to connecting with the breath, in being fully present, the more your relationship grows. So I would like to show how people build that relationship with the breath. So first of all, understand that we are absolutely trained to maintain our awareness outside of us. So this is it isn't just turning to the breath, it's building a relationship where your awareness grows with the breath. In other words, you want to build your connection with the breath to a point where at least 50% of your awareness is riding on that breath. It takes time, and it's, like getting to know one another. So it's a practice. And you have to first choose. You want to hook your awareness to either the sound of the breath and the physical movements of the body. So let's do this. So everyone who's listening, take a comfortable posture. Make sure your back is supported and your phone is shut off, and you close the door or whatever you need to have that privacy, because the breath wants as much of your attention as you can give it. So it's going to take time to build that connection with the breath so that you can go into that place of quietude Master Lin referred to. So you're sitting down, close your eyes. We're not going to do the prep. I just want to show you how you practice with the breath, and you want to maybe do this 5 minutes every day. Relax your shoulders, and choose. I find it easier to hook my awareness to the sound of the breath. So you want to draw and focus on the sound, and just let the sound of the breath take you inside. So as much of your awareness as you can, settle and focus on listening to the sound of the breath going in and the sound of the breath going out. And just let the sound of the breath take you deeper and deeper. Gradually, more and more of your awareness will settle into the place of the breath inside you. So I'm going to be quiet I have my little timer here. I'm going to be quiet for a minute, and I want you just to settle into following the sound of the breath. It starts now. Let the breath guide you in. Very good. Gently take another deep breath in and a slow breath out. So building the relationship with the breath in a way that allows you to follow the breath inside is about building a relationship where you settle, where your awareness becomes comfortable focusing on the breath. So when you first start, it may only be 20% of your awareness. But as you practice, your whole system becomes comfortable. It's like getting used to a new place where you live, and your system looks forward to it. And over time, more and more of your awareness goes with the breath inside. And at that point, you reach a point where you drop into what Master Lin referred to, this moment of serenity. As you become more comfortable following the breath inside with more and more of your awareness, you find that you are establishing a place of rest that you can always turn to. In fact, for me, the goal is you develop this relationship, you find this place of rest, and you can even use it when your mind, before your mind becomes a runaway train. When you notice that your mind is moving in a direction that doesn't support your goal, you turn to the breath and you create this pause. And it helps pause the mind. It helps bring your mind back to the center. The breath can be your best friend. But like any other relationship, first you get comfortable with it, you become more relaxed, and then you have conversations, you hold hands, you get closer and closer. It takes a little time till your awareness settles in. Okay, so give it time. This seems like basic, but the goal is, you see, our awareness is used to being outside, and you're practicing bringing your awareness to your breath until it reaches a point of saturation where you drop into that place of serenity.
Yeah. So, Anne, is there like if my mind starts to take over me a little bit, is it do I have to start then from the beginning to go deeper, or will I easily slip into the depth that I achieved, just to say a little while ago?
I think it varies from day to day. The mind is going to want to step in because the mind wants to pull you away from the inner focus, so you find what works for you. So when my mind kicks in, and I struggle with this depending on the day and what's going on in my life, I say, thank you for sharing. I'm now going back to my relationship with the breath. Or sometimes I will use the password Master Lin has given us. I am in the universe. The universe is within my body, the universe, and I will use a way to bring myself back to my purpose. So, and it's a practice. You find what works for you, but don't make yourself wrong. But give it 5 minutes. It really is building a relationship with your breath that becomes a very powerful place for you to rest in and really support you. And, in many ways. So the mind's going to come in, say the password, thank the mind for sharing, and just be okay with it. Be okay. It's part of the journey. It's just like you're with a new friend, and the friend says, I don't know, I like yellow. And all of a sudden your mind goes, well, who likes yellow? So the mind is always stepping in.
So I like the way you're making a distinction between just breathing in and out, into like a visualizing, almost like you're saying it's a relationship. So it's almost like it's an entity, so to speak, inside me. It's
It
almost
is.
it's almost that real. I'm saying
it is real. The breath is a gift that I feel is so overlooked. It's always there.
yeah,
You don't have to
yeah,
text anyone. You don't have to get on your phone. You could be lying in bed. You build this relationship so that after a while, yourself, your being becomes more and more comfortable settling in with the breath. And every time you hear, even after a while, you just turn to the breath and it takes you into that place of repose. It becomes your own oasis but you build the relationship first.
So in developing that through practice, I'm hearing you, as we maybe move into this part as well, it's almost like when the world is a certain way toward us, we have this fantastic tool of the breath, of the relationship with the breath, that says when we get stressed out or when life appears to be crazy or chaotic, I can always go back to where? To this entity, to this relationship with the breath.
Yes, and it's been studied. So after 2 minutes, and the next step is slowing the breath down, which I want to talk about. But within 2 minutes of this steadying the breath, your blood sugar drops, the cortisol drops, the stress level drops. You trigger the parasympathetic nervous system. So your whole nervous system, your whole physiology settles down as well. It becomes a place of rest for you on every level. That's what building a relationship with the breath can give you.
I like what you just said. At every level, it's not just one place, but there is so much of the dimensions inside of ourselves, as you're mentioning, the parasympathetic nervous system, and then this, and then this. It really is a connection to the whole body, and not just the lungs. It's not just breathing in the lungs that you're talking about. It really goes throughout the whole system.
On every level. And of course, again, it is for thousands of years, traditions have asked their students to use the breath to turn within, to build that connection to the inner palace. So not only does the breath, as Master Lin say, brings you to this moment of serenity where you align with every part of yourself, it also strengthens you, builds your nervous system, helps balance, every system. And it's 80% of your energy comes from the lungs. So your breath serves you on so many levels. And the slower you breathe, the more oxygen you take up. The slower you breathe, the more you drop into the breath.
And then it seems like the more you practice it, it's much easier to go to those places, to that place of rest, and to use it. So then you can use it, at a moment's notice or at another time, or I'm sitting waiting for something to happen. I could be sitting waiting for something and I have a minute. I could drop myself into that breath just within a short matter of time.
Right. So the key for that is you hook your awareness to the sound, so that as soon as you hear the inhalation, that actually becomes, that trigger to let down, where the whole system, I know this place. This is the breath.
Yeah.
And you let.
Yeah. I know you, my dear friend,
Yeah, that's right. We've been together before. So it's really, it has so much potential to be your guide, not just to focusing within, but your best friend in the time of difficulties and challenge.
Yeah. And it wants to help you the most. It's not just a survival thing. That's what the automatic breath is. That's a survival breath. This is a wellness breath. It's a deepening of the life. So you say that you have another slowing down of the breath exercise?
So now I want to talk about, I want to talk about continuing to build that relationship. So in 2008, I took the level 3 in the spring of 2008. And in the old level 3, there was a PowerPoint, and Master Lin would talk about the longevity connected to how many breaths you took a minute. So the longer living animals were the ones that breathed the slowest, like the turtle breathed 4 to 5 breaths per minute. And the other animals breathed faster and they didn't live as long. And so he talked about longevity that was directly correlated to slowing the breath down, and that he mentioned that yogis and Qigong masters generally breathe 6 breaths per minute, and the average person 10 to 20. So when I heard that, of course, I heard longevity. Oh, I'm interested in longevity. And it seemed like a relatively simple way to be proactive and see how I could slow my breath down. So in those days, I had an old Toyota that had a clock in the front with a minute and second hand. So at a red stoplight, I would count my breaths, for a minute, and then work to slow it down. And it didn't take very long. I mean, I think when I started, I was at somewhere between 10 and 12. And then, I drove a lot in those times. And so I could see that it wasn't that difficult to slow my breath down. And that was very encouraging. And so I want to practice. I want to offer that to the people listening. So we have to do this in 2 parts. So the first part is I'm going to give you a minute. I want you to go back to your comfortable posture. And the first minute, I want you to just don't do anything to the breath. Just count how many breaths you're going to take in this minute. And then we'll repeat the practice where you focus on slowing down a little. So if you happen to breathe 20 breaths per minute, don't expect after one. It isn't about going from 20 to 6. It's about going from 20 to 19 or 20 to 19 and a half. It's a slow, I want to make everything easy and happy. Okay, no pressure. It's fun. Okay, so take your comfortable posture. Make sure your back is supported. Relax your shoulders. Shut off your phone. Close your eyes if you want. Relax your shoulders. And I'm going to say, just count your breaths starting now. And stop. So, very good. You did great. And just note how many breaths you had in this minute. Don't judge it, please. We're just having a good time here. Now, we're going to do it again, but this time I want you to slow your breath down a little, easily. Just a little bit of slowing the breath down. And make sure, once again, take a comfortable posture. I used to do this in the car. You can do it there. Just, again, when I say start, you count the breath. So let's start again. and done. So this is an easy way. You practice with yourself when you want to. And I didn't make a big deal out of it. I just wanted to see how long it took me to get down to 6 breaths. But remember, I'm a meditator, and so I think those people who've meditated consistently tend to have that lower breath. So just make it something you enjoy doing. And slowly the breath will slow down. And I want you to share something that really struck me that Master Lin shared again on the healing connection, that I was floored when he said, slowing the breath down has brought me to where I am now. And I thought about that. How powerful that. So that's really what started all this focus on the breath. 2 things was the level 3, when they talked about longevity connected directly to how fast or slowly you breathe. And when Master Lin shared that, I realized I'm overlooking the breath. The breath must be so powerful. So I really started to look at, ways of building that relationship. And I'm still working at it, because like Glenn shared, the mind is always ready to interfere in that whole journey within. All right. But it's such a beautiful journey. And you have to look at where Master Lin is. And for him to say, slowing the breath down has brought me to where I am today. That's huge.
It gives me a few thoughts to share with you or have you respond back. So there's the first thought is homeostasis. That's a condition that I go back to what I know the best. So if I know that, kind of like breathing 30 times a minute is my homeostasis, I'll always go back to breathing 30 times a minute. And now you're kind of nudging, saying, actually, the wellness that you talk about in your title, the wellness would be how can I have my homeostasis going back to what I know the best as a 6 or a 8 breaths per minute, because it has something to do with wellness, not just because. So it becomes more of a way of life rather than putting on my Qigong, uniform and getting out my cushion and then practicing my breath for 5 minutes. That's good. But I hear you talking about for your health, then it's a wellness practice to slow down your breath and know how to get back to it as a way of life rather than occasional opportunity. It's kind of like don't neglect the relationship you have with your breath.
Yes, and again, it's been documented. Within 2 minutes of slowing the breath down, your blood pressure goes down, your parasympathetic nervous triggered, and the relaxation response comes in. The cortisol dissolves. Your whole nervous system takes one big sigh. But the combination... I was going to say, the combination for me is that as I slow the breath down, my goal, to slow the breath down for longevity, and then looking at what it means to me when Master Lin says slowing the breath down has brought him to where he is today. So I'm still unpacking that one.
Mm-hmm. It does sound as if I'm breathing, say, 25, 30 breaths, a minute, it's really taking up space and time. So I'm not able to maybe access the deeper. So the more I slow down my breath, say to 6 or 8, then I have the access to that deeper information, the more of the things that are inside me, other than I'm always aware of my 25 breaths a minute. So it becomes functionally important.
Yes, functionally important. And again, that relationship with the breath, it's just like in the Qigong standing exercises. When you move quickly, in a way, you disconnect from the experience. But when you move slowly, you're dropping into the heart of it. It's also the same with the breath. When you breathe slower, you're dropping into that relationship.
What do you think about, like, the world is kind of crazy lately. So if someone is watching television or watching news or watching things, how is this, like, practically saying, if you're going to watch some things that are disturbing to you, what's the value as you're watching to use the slowing down of the breath?
Well, it will help to balance some of the acidity that's caused from watching disturbing images. But
Yeah.
at the end of the day, I say turn the TV off. Okay? I mean,
Yeah.
so I don't I do focus on the breath sometimes when I'm watching things, but it's just because I'm turning to the breath more just in my own day to day. But it's just become a comfort. It's a comfort. It's like when I turn to the breath, I'm focusing back here. I'm focusing back within me, and it feels comfortable. It feels good. It's just a good feeling. It's like getting a hug. So I turn to the
Mhm.
breath.
Mhm. I've heard the definition of spirituality is the art of coming home. And so it
Yes.
sounds like the idea about the breath is the art of coming, it brings you home to a place of rest. And
Yes, I feel the breath is our personal gift to, to come back to ourselves, 100%.
yeah, that's what I was hinting at a little bit earlier, that you can use the breath, not just like watching television, but
Oh, yeah.
situationally to be aware of how the world is impacting you. And then one of the tools you have is that breath to come back home again, in order to feel that sense of rest with your friend.
Yes,
That's
with your
really beautiful.
friend. And with the friend you built that relationship with, that you're comfortable with, that you're used to spending time with. So take those 5 minutes and build that relationship or more, and you will find it will give you a lot of um, goodness in many ways. I don't know if we have time for one more
Yeah, I think we
exercise.
do.
We
Yeah.
do? Okay. So I use the first two as the foundation for your relationship with the breath. And now the third one is using the spring forest breathing, which I'll take you through, but with the focus primarily on the infinite universe or the beginning of the universe, where you actually expand out to that place of infinity. So once again, take a comfortable posture. Make sure your back is supported. Relax your shoulders. Um, and close your eyes. And here, because it is our spring forest qigong breathing, I'm going to say the password and you can just say it to yourself, because the purpose of the password is to help connect to the universe. So it's an invitation of connection. So I'll say the password. I am in the universe. The universe is in my body. The universe and I combine together. Now relax your shoulders. Focus on the sound of your inhalation and exhalation. Let your breath take you inside. Now gently focus as you inhale. See the infinite expanse of the universe drawing its light into yourself, into the surface of your body. And as you exhale, expand your awareness out to the infinite expanse of the universe. So you draw in, feeling the universe coming in. And as you hear the exhalation, you expand your awareness out to the infinite universe going out. So as you hear the inhalation, you see the infinite dark expanse of the universe coming in. And as you hear the exhalation, you see the dark expanse of the inhalation, the exhalation going out. We'll do this for just 1 minute. And let the sound of the breath bring the infinite universe fully in. And the sound of the exhalation expand your awareness out to the infinite universe as it goes out. And focus on the sensation of the universe coming in with your inhalation and the sensation of your awareness expanding out on the exhalation to the infinite. Let the universe ride the wave of your breath. And let your breath ride your awareness to the universe. One more breath in, and a slow exhalation out. And you can thank your breath and the universe for coming together. And because we're here with Spring Forest, gently bring your awareness to your lower dantian, that special place, 3 inches directly behind the navel, so we lock that in. One more breath in and exhalation out. When you're ready, you can open your eyes. So that was just a short practice, focusing on the universal aspect with your breath.
It's fantastic. Do you have any closing thoughts?
Yes. I want to read a few lines from the Tao Te Ching, chapter 10, which I feel is a summary of what I've said. Can you balance your mind and body and grasp the unity of everything? Can you soften your breath and become like a sleeping baby? Can you open and close the door to heaven?
Beautiful. Can you move us into a meditation?
I'd be glad to. So, well, once again, take a comfortable posture. Relax your shoulders. Close your eyes if you're comfortable closing your eyes. And listen to the beautiful sound of your breath. And let your breath take you deep within. Gently, following the breath in, bring your awareness to your lower dantian, where there's a soft, misty, transparent light. Gently bring the light up the spine to the heart. At the bottom of the heart is a lotus flower, a soft rose pink flower. Breathe directly into the lotus flower as it opens its petals until it shows the center of a golden sun. Breathe into the center of the lotus and feel the radiance of your inner sun with each breath in. And as you exhale, release that radiance throughout your whole body. With each breath in, your inner sun shines brighter and warmer. And with each breath out, you feel that love through every part of your system, physically, mentally, emotionally. Let the radiance of your inner sun shine through every part. Let the fragrance of the lotus in your heart release through every part. And with each breath, you are stronger and brighter. Hear the beautiful sound of your inhalation and feel the expansive sound of your exhalation. Take one more breath in and a slow exhalation out. Enjoy the beauty and fragrance of the lotus flower. Gently move the light from your heart down the spine, back to the lower dantian. See that light get smaller and smaller until it's the size of a vitamin you tuck deep behind the navel. Breathe into the lower dantian and breathe out. And at the end of the exhalation, you can open your eyes and rub your palms together. Gently massage your face. Enjoy releasing the warmth into your skin. And massage your ears. And that ends my talk.
No, Anne, that just begins your talk.
Oh, yeah.
So it's so beautiful to feel your words and focus on the breath. Thank you. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're so welcome, Glenn.
And I hope everyone begins to practice it with more diligence and importance. So for tonight, have a great night. Bye.
Bye.